Support for Disrupted comes from the Connecticut Office of Film, Television, and Digital Media.
Being the first person to do something isn't easy. There's no blueprint for what you're doing and no conventional wisdom to fall back on when all else fails. There's also the pressure of expectations and all the people who are counting on your success. But being the first is also a way to show people what's possible. Being the first means being a pioneer, and here in Connecticut, people are pioneering a wide range of fields every day. From Connecticut Public Radio, this is Disrupted. I'm Kalila Brown-Dean. This hour, we're talking with local leaders who are breaking barriers. Later, we'll hear from the inaugural executive director of a group working towards inclusive economic growth in New Haven. We'll also talk to the new campus president at CT State Gateway. It's New Haven's community college branch. But up first, Shelly Carter. She's fire chief at the Hamden Fire Department. She's the first woman and first person of color to serve in the role. Chief Carter, it's wonderful to have you on Disrupted.
Oh, it's such an honor to be here. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for having me.
You're born and raised in Philadelphia.
Yes.
You become fire chief in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the journey. When you were a little girl, did you say, I want to be a firefighter someday? What was the journey to becoming chief?
There was never a thought in my mind in Philadelphia, in Connecticut, or anywhere else in the world where I thought I wanted to be a firefighter. Growing up in Philadelphia, my mom, a single parent of 4 kids, who we lived in the projects in Philadelphia. But mom was just trying to make it work and being there for us and making sure that we were educated, making sure that we had a happy home. I didn't know we grew up in the projects until I didn't live in the projects anymore. I was like, oh, that's what that is? Mm-hmm. Education in Philadelphia was, we were the only Black students in my elementary school. And when I came to Connecticut, there were no white students in my school. And I just talk about total change and culture shock. So came to Connecticut. I was about 13 years old and was in school. Studied to become a television anchor. That was my goal. Went to Middlesex Community College and took classes in journalism. Worked for Channel 361 for outside of college, and realized that that's not really what I wanted to be. So I took other jobs, and just trying to figure out who I was, and ended up getting married and having a son. And in having my son, I was pushing him down the street in a stroller. He was about 3.5 years old. He saw the fire trucks. The guys were doing their truck checks on the ramp, and he went crazy. A little boy, and he said, "Mommy, I want to see the fire trucks." And I was like, "No, honey, those guys are real important, and I don't want to disturb what their real important job is." And the guys were like, "No, bring them over. That's why it's so important to have community involvement, and our firefighters connect to our communities, right?" So I walked over to the fire truck, and they began to tell me about what they do. I was 28 years old. I was a wife and a mother. And one of the officer on that truck said, "Hey, you ever thought about becoming a firefighter?" And I was like, "No, that is like, I'm the girliest girl I know, and that is not for me." And he went ahead and spoke to me for more than an hour and convinced me to take the test. That was literally it. I often say I tripped and fell into the fire service.
Well, for someone who tripped and fell into the fire service, you have done quite well.
Yes.
You are now the first woman and person of color to serve as chief of the Hamden Fire Department. And I want to name that intentionally because you are working in a field that is traditionally male-dominated, is traditionally underrepresented when it comes to people of color. And to break through those barriers to say, yes, I may be the first, but I'm dedicated to making a pathway for other people to pursue a career, but really to pursue a calling. And every time I've heard you speak about your role as chief, that's what I hear, that there's this calling to honor community, to honor the brave men and women who risk their lives every day to protect other people, but to think about what it means to be a public servant, especially in these times. Mm-hmm. What does that mean for you to have this historical position, but to know when you have to do the work every day, it is the heart and the commitment that matters. What does it mean for you to break those barriers?
The heart and the commitment is this. We serve our community. We are public servants. And at the end of the day, when that 911 is called, the person on the other end of that phone, they really don't care who shows up as long as they know that they're going to get the help that they're asking for. Once it really dawned on me, the capacity of that, going through recruit school, getting into my first firehouse, going to that first call, I was like, wow, this is really a thing. Like, I had never had to call 911. The only thing I knew was red trucks and move out of the way when I joined the fire department. And to realize that someone's calling to me, to Shelly Carter, the firefighter, to come help them, whatever the problem is. It is everybody's worst day when they have to call 911. I don't care who you are. It's mind-blowing, but also what I love. I love being here for the community. I love being here for the town of Hamden. And so do the rest of my firefighters. We don't just do this for the fun of it. You know, everyone's running out when we're running in. It's usually on fire, it's usually blown up, it's usually a bad day. And so breaking the barrier as a woman of color, I didn't look at it that way initially until it hit me. Like I literally had to, when it really hit me, I had to actually catch myself and sit down, that I am the only Black female fire chief in all of New England. That's mind-blowing. But why? The next question is why? There are other women that do this job every day. There are other women of color that do this job every single day. And so were doors opened for me? Not really, no. Were there opportunities that were missed based upon my gender and my skin color? It's possible. I can believe that. But that didn't stop me. It's okay. You can close that door. I'll find another way to get in. Because you taught me how to be a firefighter. So we break walls and we bust in doors. That's what we do. That's who I am. That's what you taught me on that training ground. So whether it is the proverbial door of not allowing me to sit at your table, I'll break that door down. And that's what the goal is here, is to teach other people, other women of color, that it is not impossible for you to become whoever you want to be in the fire service.
I hear in you this idea of part of being in the fire service is a commitment to we will find a way or we will make a way. And that's a powerful motivation.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know, Chief, that being the first can be lonely sometimes. Mm-hmm. It can be overwhelming when you show up to a space as who you are in this role, but you also inherit everyone else's expectations, their doubts, but also the possibility. How do you manage that piece of it of, I have to show up as Chief Carter, but when I go home, I am still me? How do you manage the weight of all of that?
Sometimes it gets heavy. I just have to be completely honest with you. Sometimes it gets heavy because I know every step I take is being watched. Not watched in a negative way, just watched. You know, I remember getting out of my town car at a structure fire, and the woman's house was on fire. I remember walking towards the fire. It was the middle of the day. And she looked, the woman, the resident, and said, "Is that Chief Carter?" I'm like, "Your house is on fire." Like, she's like, "Is that Chief Carter?" She's like, "Oh my God, I'm so proud of you." I'm like, "Let me do my job." And so it brought joy to my heart because at least I knew that someone could recognize who I am and the capacity that I hold and the strength that I have to do and be for the firefighters that were working at that call. The flip side of that is when I have to walk into a space and then there's nothing but doubt and nothing but sabotage sometimes. And I have to remember that I worked my tail off to be here. I'm not getting a doctorate degree for nothing. I didn't go to those classes and miss birthday parties and events with my family for nothing. So I will not allow anyone to take up that much space in my head of causing doubt upon myself, but I also will not allow anyone to disrespect who I am in the position that I hold. I was hired for a reason. I was appointed for a reason, and that is to command the Hamden Fire Department. If folks aren't comfortable with that, that's their problem and not my problem. I still have to do my job. And I do my job with pride, and I do it with excellence and joy and discipline, because at the end of the day, there are people watching.
It's amazing to me that, let's call a thing a thing. We are in very divided times in our country, in our state. The town of Hamden is certainly not immune to that, where often people will allow their own insecurities or their own misunderstandings to shape what they expect of other people. And what I hear from you is that at the end of the day, what you want for yourself, for your firefighters, for your colleagues, is that everyone returns home safely.
Absolutely.
That they have done good work for the community, and that the community has trust in the people who are there to keep them safe. And in those ways, all the other things become stuff and noise that detracts from the mission. As chief, what is your vision so that when you look at your tenure, you say, we did good work?
The vision looks like this. Number one, we always have to make sure that we get our firefighters home safely to their families. That is my bottom line. At the end of the day, I don't ever want to have to knock on the door, okay? In doing so, I have to make sure that my firefighters are trained properly. Technology is changing so very rapidly. It's so important that our firefighters get the best equipment, get the newest, latest equipment. Why? Because fires burn differently now. The 1930 fires are very different than the 2025 fires. If we have equipment that don't work or is behind the times, we can cause harm not only to the residents, but to our firefighters. The other part to that is making sure that we diversify the department. Making sure, because right now I'm the only woman on the department. And I love our firefighters. I love my brothers, absolutely. But I want this department to resemble or look like the community in which we serve. And how do I do that? Making it available and being visible to women, saying you can do this job. I don't understand why women aren't flocking to the fire service. Our firefighters work 2 days a week. I mean, geez, you can't even beat that. The pay is good. The benefits are good. The camaraderie and the family mentality of the fire department, especially Hamden, I have to say, coming from a different department, I love how we communicate and talk to each other. I love how we are built on that family principle. I want to bring that to anyone that's interested in becoming a firefighter in Hamden. But I am very much an advocate for women in the fire service. So ladies, let's make it happen.
Yeah. People often say, what would you say to young girls? This is a question of what do you say to women, right? Of wherever you are in your life, whatever you're thinking about, there is an opportunity for you. What do you say to women who say, listen, that sounds good, but I'm not quite sure. What's the pitch to have them consider this as a career and a calling?
You know, we are natural nurturers, right? Most of us, I can't say all, but most of us are. Just think about the ability to answer the call, the 911 call of a person who is not well, delivering a baby on the side of a road, or picking up grandma that fell on the floor for the third time in a night shift. Not that my brother firefighters can't do it, because we do it all the time. But I remember pulling up in a parking lot where a woman was giving birth, and she did not make it to the hospital. She was trying to get there. She was driving. She had to pull over to the side of the road. And I got off the apparatus, and she was just like, oh my God, I'm so happy to see you. The idea that not only do we serve as firefighters, there's so many different career paths in the fire service, such as EMT, paramedic, fire marshaling, community risk reduction, training. There's so many career paths within the fire service. And on top of that, I'm really strong and brave. Because guess what? I can run into this building and we don't leave you alone. We work together as a team to complete the mission. And so for the ladies that say, I don't know, I said the same thing. But when I began to learn and grow and understand the process, I realized that this was absolutely the place for me.
We are glad to hear that you are creating space, not just for you, but for others, and that you are leading with the commitment to community that I think is so needed in these times, but also will help restore some of the faith and trust that people have, that public servants are doing hard things, even when they're unsure, but they are showing up with that bravery, that strength, and that commitment that's so needed. Shelly Carter is Fire Chief at the Hamden Fire Department. Thank you, Chief Carter.
It has been wonderful to speak with you today. And please know that if there's ever anything needed by the Hamden Fire Department, please don't hesitate to reach out. We would love to be a part of all of your community events and things that's going on. Thank you.
Coming up, we'll hear about the need to change the way we think about entrepreneurship.
I would ask, name an entrepreneur. And inevitably, they would name a white male.
And later, the new campus president of CT State Gateway talks about the value of community college.
We are so flexible in terms of the program that we can offer to our students, in terms of the student population we can serve.
This is Disrupted. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Disrupted. I'm Kalila Brown-Dean. This hour, we're talking with pioneering Connecticut leaders who are breaking barriers. Sometimes being the first means building something from the ground up, and our next guest is doing exactly that. Dawn Leeks Ragsdale became the first executive director of the Center for Inclusive Growth in March 2024. It's a partnership between Yale and the City of New Haven. They hope to ensure that economic growth supports all residents of New Haven. Dawn, it's great to have you on Disrupted.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
For our listeners who may not be familiar, tell me what the term or phrase inclusive growth really means.
Yeah, just to really say it in simple terms, it means that we want inclusive economic growth so that everyone has financial opportunities and access to financial opportunities, and everybody has those opportunities equally.
So I was on the board of the Community Foundation for Greater New Haven when within New Haven, we were starting to talk about this concept of inclusive growth. And there were some people who said like, oh, that sounds nice, but how do you actually do it? And there were others who said, why do we need to call this out? It should just be a standard practice. And it was the realization that what should be is not always what is. You are now the inaugural executive director of this partnership that you say is a standalone organization, but comes out of that partnership. Tell me a little bit about your own background, Dawn, and why this focus on equitable economic development is so important to you.
I always tell people I've had what I will call a liberal arts career. So I've done a little bit of everything in the past. And whether that was hiring substitutes for a school system or director of communications for a major nonprofit or leading a leadership management program for rising managers, it was always rooted in helping people. Then I kind of embarked on my own entrepreneurial journey starting in 2012. And, I've lived and have many stories to tell of the experiences of a Black woman trying to run a startup. All of the different experiences I've had have led me to this moment. I don't know if I had the clarity of mind in the past as I was experiencing things or as I noticed things in the world to say, we need inclusive growth. You kind of know that people and neighborhoods and communities are being left behind, but don't really understand how to correct for that. And so I think this opportunity to maybe do something spectacular, innovative, and to truly have impact and kind of level that playing field for folks was really appealing to me.
You are the inaugural executive director. You are a woman of color who's leading this. leading in spaces that don't often appreciate people who look like you or have your background, but you're committed to leading, as you said, mission forward, mission focused, and doing this work. What did it mean to you to be named as the inaugural executive director?
Man, I think it's been a year to change. I think I'm still processing that. It meant a lot. I really thought, oh my gosh, they picked me for this. I was, obviously elated, but I think that one of the things that maybe made me appealing was that I've actually run a business and scaled it and sold it. I'm so serious about making impact and not just giving lip service to a thing. And so I think, I don't even think I was thinking about, as a Black woman getting this or first Black woman, first woman of color. I think I was just thinking, they picked somebody who was serious about getting some stuff done. I think that was my focus. And that was just really exciting to me.
Part of what we love to feature on this show are people like you who are disruptors, who are challenging the status quo. Not that you wake up every day and say, how can I challenge the status quo? But by virtue of the way that you do the work, the integrity with which you do the work. And one of the things that I know about your leadership is that it's very collaborative, of thinking about not just who's at the table, but whose voices have not been heard, whether purposely or by chance, and how do you empower that? What do you say to the everyday person who is like, the Center for Inclusive Growth, tell me what it's going to do. How can it make my life better, or the opportunities that I have more real? What do you say to folks who want to know more about that?
Yeah, I think ultimately the thing that we're trying to do is put more money in people's pockets, whether that's through helping with small business and entrepreneurship, whether that's helping through helping people achieve economic mobility, whether that is partnering to provide programming around financial education to help people better manage what they have, or whether that's asset and wealth building. And so we're mission-driven, not program-driven. And we have the opportunity to help individuals, like to do programming that would actually help individual entrepreneurs or people, the things that I mentioned. But then we also have the opportunity to try to tackle systemic level issues and provide systemic change. And so I know that's a lot, and that's a lot for people to wrap their minds around. But at the bottom line, if someone was going to just remember one thing from this call, is like, I'm looking for opportunities, more financial opportunities. And I want them to think of the Center for Inclusive Growth.
I love that you're emphasizing the systemic change, because that's what becomes durable and enduring and is not episodic about a program or a person. And that work is inherently and necessarily slow and time consuming, right? We didn't get into economic inequality overnight. It won't be a quick fix program, although people often want, fix it right now, Dawn, no pressure, but fix it for everyone right now. But you're also a change maker. How do you continue to do the work without getting impatient? Or maybe the impatience drives you. How do you manage that? I'm doing systemic change, which takes a long time, and I am impatient with the state of inequality in this area.
Yeah, I'm super impatient. I think once you reach a certain age, as a person of color, I remember being young and coming home and telling my mom experiences, after school, and she would be mad. She'd be furious. They're still doing this. This is still happening. This happened to me. And now I'm around that age, and I'm hearing stories, and I'm seeing things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it feels like nothing's changed. Even though a lot has changed at the same time. We've seen the first Black president. I mean, there's been some progress, but fundamentally, it feels like some of the systems haven't been changed. And so I think I get really excited about the small wins that we can achieve, and making those small wins, they add up to bigger wins and more systemic changes. I think we started the year 2025 with a big convening, and we brought in a bunch of leaders from around New Haven and some from the state to talk about what does inclusive growth really mean for New Haven. And then we followed that up with a series of community-level conversations. And so it's been really great to engage people in the community and hear what their thoughts are, what their ideas are. And I think to continue these collaborative conversations, giving some resources and some direction so that we can actually have some solutions coming out is going to be a major approach.
What would you say systemic change looks and feels like in your vision of the things that you're working toward, the wins that you have, the wins that you are continuing to build? What does that look and feel like for you?
So a lot of this, I think, is coming back to narrative change, right? I attended the groundwater training that the Community Foundation offered, and one of the things that was said by the facilitator that really resonated with me was that we are a society that loves our narratives, and we hold on to them, and it limits people and what their ideas are about what they can do and about what other people can do. And so I think that narrative change has to happen on both sides, the people in power and then the people that are striving to make a good life for their families. So an example of that, I used to do more public speaking, and I would be talking to entrepreneurs, and I'd be talking about entrepreneurship, and I would ask, name an entrepreneur. And inevitably, they would name a white male. Now, that male could have been in a suit or in a hoodie, but it never really included other people, even though we know that there are many other people who are entrepreneurs. But think about how that impacts funding, or you're trying to go pitch to get resources, and people are looking at you like, I mean, you're not even what I think an entrepreneur is or should be.
You are a few months into this. When you look back, so at year 5, and Dawn is looking at the 5 years of your impact there, what's the thing that you want to be able to say about Dawn Leaks Ragsdale as a leader and as a disruptor?
Well, what I would love for the community to say, because we've been going around to the different communities, neighborhoods in New Haven and having meetings, and I've been trying to tell people who I am and tell people what the center is going to do. And I would love in 5 years that people said, oh, she was serious. She meant what she said when she came here. I have had opportunities. I've been at tables that I wasn't able to be at before, and I've been able to shape my community, resourced and with information and programming from the Center for Inclusive Growth. And when I look outside, I can actively see some of those changes as a direct result of the work that the center is doing.
I have no doubt that the community will say that you will say that, and it will be affirmed as you continue to do this work of leadership and disrupting. Dawn Leaks Ragsdale is the inaugural executive director of the Center for Inclusive Growth. Thank you, Dawn.
Oh, thank you so much.
When this episode first aired, Dawn shared that there would be announcements in the coming months. Since then, the Center for Inclusive Growth has announced a new associate director for programs and engagement. It also launched a new pilot program, the Neighborhood Opportunity and Capability Acceleration Project. It provides back office support to small and mid-sized businesses. Coming up, CT State Gateway's campus president will tell us about building connections with the broader community.
I really enjoy working with all the community members. I've never seen any organization say that, I'm not interested in working with a college.
This is Disrupted. Stay with us. Welcome back to Disrupted. I'm Kalila Brown-Dean. This hour, we're talking with local leaders who are paving the way for others by achieving historic firsts. CT State Gateway has been through a lot of changes. The New Haven institution used to be called Gateway Community College, but a recent merger of Connecticut's community colleges changed that. Now leading Gateway through those changes is Dr. Shiang-Kwei Wang. She's the new campus president at CT State Gateway. She's the first person to hold the title of campus president and the first Asian American leader of Gateway. Dr. Wang, it's great to have you on Disrupted.
Thank you so much. My honor to be here.
Let me first congratulate you because you are new to this position, new to Connecticut, but certainly not new to academic leadership. You have a distinguished career as a researcher, as an academic leader in different places. Tell me what drew you to this leadership opportunity here at CT State Gateway.
Let me start by saying that I started the career in higher education as a professor. So I was a professor in teacher education. I prepared teachers in one of the 4 years university in Long Island. So after 15 years of teaching, and then I was asked to be the chairs of a department. And then after 1 year, they want me to be the associate dean for the School of Education. So I used that opportunity to put together an advisory council for the school. And many of the members on that council, they were high-need school superintendent, president, principals. So they know my passion of education. So they told me, maybe you should try public university if you're interested in serving marginalized students population. So, and then I decided to jump out of my comfort zone. So I become the dean for research at one of the City University of New York campuses, dean for research. Then I become the vice president for academic and student affairs in one of the Hispanic serving institutions in Chicago, City College of Chicago. So all of those experiences helped me to serve as a provost for Hostos Community College, another CUNY campuses in South Bronx, which is the poorest congressional districts. And I learned a lot about how to serve students, especially the marginalized, underserved student population. And I brought the colleges a lot of resources and grants to enhance our teaching and learning. And then our president, she is still the president for Hostos Community College. She used to be the president for Nautica Valley. So she knows my passion to continue to step up and make bigger impact. So she told me so much great things about Connecticut and about the system. So she encouraged me to look for this opportunity. So that's why I applied. And during my interview process, I did a lot of research about City State and New Haven especially, and I really become in love of this community, and I love the student population of the campus, especially during the campus visit. A lot of faculty and staff, I heard their voices and helped me make the decision that this is really the community I want to bring my energy and my passion to.
I started my own educational journey at a community college in my hometown in Virginia, and I saw the transformative ways that having someone see a student to say, I don't see you for your challenges, but I see you for your possibility. And that kind of investment transformed the lives of students, but their families, their neighborhoods, and this bigger impact that they can have. And then let's be candid. You're becoming president at a time when higher education is really at an inflection point of what the path forward looks like. Public trust is somewhat low, and community colleges are serving students and populations that often come with their own set of unique opportunities and challenges. What does leadership mean for you in this moment of, yes, there's a lot of things happening, but my vision is here? What does it mean for you to be the leader in this moment?
Well, all of this, the higher education leaders are still willing to become the leaders for higher education because of the one reason that we want to support our students to achieve their goals, not just academic goals, but also career goals. And that's what the beauty of community college. We are so flexible in terms of the program that we can offer to our students, in terms of the student population we can serve. Because for 4 years university, they are great, they are wonderful. But for For some students, they need more support. They need to have more interaction with advisor, with faculty members. Community college actually offer them those opportunities. So my job is always to encourage our leadership team to see that kind of value we can bring into our students, because right now people want to invest only because they see the value. So what is the value of community college? It's not just about affordable tuition, but also because of the opportunity and the potential we can create for our students, either to help them to finish their general education, and they can decide it if they want to continue their journey to 4 years college, or they can just enter the workforce and with a great credential that they have earned here at community colleges.
So many colleges are contending with, that proverbial enrollment cliff of what's going to happen a year from now, 5 years from now. They are struggling to get the numbers. That does not seem to be a challenge here at CT State Gateway. For our listeners, they know that we record Disrupted here on the campus of CT State Gateway. And getting into the building, hearing the energy from people. So yes, you have young students who are fresh out of high school. You have students who are raising families, who are looking for a new career or upskilling or want some kind of enrichment to do that. This place is buzzing all the time. What does enrollment look like here at CT State Gateway? And how do you see that as another opportunity to do the things that you mentioned, which was bring a team together to say, here's what we're building. Let's continue to do that.
Our so much for this question. Yes, I'm so glad that I mentioned our enrollment growth for this year. So compared with last year, our enrollment growth 4%. And so that is a really exciting news for a campus that is like we are considered as a Tier 1 campus at City State because we have the most students enrolled in our campus. We have about 30% of our students enrolled as a full-time students. And most of them, they come from high school directly. They're high school graduates. Now, for the part-time students, many of them, they are adult learners. They have their daytime jobs. They have to, some of them have nighttime jobs. So we continue to support adult learners while we continue to enroll high school graduates. So we know we have to change our enrollment strategies, not just focusing on high school graduate, but also continue to find ways to, for example, create a flexible schedule or create a multi-learning modality to serve adult learners who have to, who cannot really come to the campus during 5 to 9.
The campus recently held a reception to formally welcome you to the campus and to the community. And I read your remarks, and I was struck by your comment that you want to partner with the community beyond just the students, the team, staff, the amazing faculty who are here, all of the ways that people show up. But you really want to have a presence not just in the community, but with the community. How important is that partnership for your role as president?
Extremely important. In fact, I've been telling our team that that's one of my priorities for this year, to continue to strengthen and expand new partnership with the community, because they see the potential of our colleges because of our ability to prepare the next generation who are actually gonna work for this community, right? So it's so important for them to see the potential and see the value of their investment. I learned that when I was a dean for School of Education, that working with all those principals, of those superintendents, they gave me so much input about the quality of our curriculum and how to place our students and make sure that they can successfully find jobs. All those kind of information are so helpful for me to bring back to communicate with our faculty and the staff. And I continue to learn the importance of working with community, but you have to be willing to listen because they are going to give you the workforce needs, their industry, what kind of skill they're looking for, So what kind of curriculum they want you to make sure that you integrate those skills into your curriculum. For example, right now, the artificial intelligence is something that they want to see. They want to make sure that we prepare our students to have those kind of skills, and they want to make sure that we are aware what kind of credential our students needs to be equipped with, so that they can find a really wonderful job. So all those information, even though many of our faculty have great relationship with the partners in their specific disciplines, but working with community at large, help you coordinate all of those efforts and activities, and help us to see their needs, how we can help their organization, and that in return, they see a ways to invest our college so that we can continue to support our students. So I really enjoy working with all the community members. I've never seen any organization say that, I'm not interested in working with a college.
Mm-hmm. Your own background in research is in education technology. And so I was excited to read that in your bio, because I think you are helping to change the ways that we think about artificial intelligence, or the conversation that often is just about academic integrity, which is important. But how do we see this as a tool? How do we prepare the workforce, not just of tomorrow, but today, to be able to navigate that? And what that means for the community is such a resource for this campus as well. I also want to talk about something that I think is somewhat distinctive for CT State Gateway. In the broader national conversation, we are seeing a retreat from equity, a retreat from inclusion, colleges moving away from having those discussions. And I was in this building earlier this year when the Melton McAvey Center for Equity and Social Justice was unveiled. And I remember thinking, to have a community college that serves so many underrepresented students, to say there's a place for you here where you can be valued, you can be challenged, but you can be successful based on whatever success looks like for you. And in the middle of that, to have that here at CT State Gateway. How does that align with your vision as a leader? Because so much of your work has also been about inclusive leadership. How do you see those two things together?
Well, I understand that because of the current political climate, some of the institutions, they are forced to change or rename some of their institutions that were designed to meet certain purposes. For us, because of our generous donor, we have this Melton McAvey Center for Equity and Social Justice, and we are really fortunate. We just bring in a new director for that center, Diana Crawford. So she is very experienced in this discipline, and she right now is designing the programming, events, and how to partner with the communities who are interested in those topics. So once we are ready to announce all of those events and all of those community programming, that would give us an opportunity to bring in more people internally or externally who are interested in those topics and how they can better support those marginalized student population in what ways. So I think we're really looking forward to hosting all those events, and that can give us more opportunity to have this group conversation about what does it look like, to support those marginalized student population.
I think about your own background and experience. You are the first Asian American person to hold this title of campus president. Asian Americans tend to be underrepresented in academic leadership at all levels of academic leadership. And yet, as you have also made clear, that identity is a part of your experience and also motivates you to think about other students, faculty, staff, community, and the ways they show up. What does it mean for you to be a disruptor, to say, I am a leader, I am leading, I am driven, and I'm aware of making history? What does that mean for you?
Well, of course, for the group of Asian Americans here, they are especially extremely proud of me, that I should, put it that way. So I'm pretty honored that I have the opportunity to represent Asian American to serve this greater community here. And that's always my goal, my vision, and my passion. But I try not to over-label about myself as an Asian American here because I want people to see me as a person who support everyone. I want to be able to connect with every group, every ethnic groups. So I want everyone see me and they feel like I'm approachable. I'm here to support them regardless of anything else. So to me, the most important thing is how I can connect with everyone here. And the next thing is outside of the community, I'm an Asian American. I'm not proud of it.
You are a few months in to this position. When you think about the vision that you have for this campus, for the community, when you think about your leadership journey that has prepared you for this leadership, what is something that you say is important to you as a leader that you want to build or accomplish or support here on this campus?
Well, so I've been sharing my priorities for this year, my first year with our community. First thing is, I think the campuses has not been having a permanent campus president for a while, for several years. And the last stable leader that they had is, we all know, is Dr. Dorsey Kendrick, who, is the person who brought us where we are today. So I had an opportunity to connect with her. I learned a lot about her passion, her vision about this campus. So I want to continue to help our campus understand that I'm here to continue her legacy. I'm here to continue to unite our group. Because of the lack of steady leadership for the past few years, I think sometimes faculty, they don't see a vision, they don't see a strategic direction. So this is where I want to be able to bring in my first year to help to bring in the sense of community back to the campus, to have people work with each other, and especially rebuild the leadership team, meaning to show our deans, our directors, the vision for this campus and how they can collaborate with each other. So I think we need to make sure that we have a team, we know how to work with each other before we can continue to bring in more, to start any new initiatives and continue to pursue any more projects.
I think change is powerful when it is sustainable.
Exactly.
And it's not just an event or an activity.
Yes.
It is structural. And so I really appreciate that you are thinking about that foundation that Dr. Kendrick built, and then also how you chart your own journey in a way that is so inclusive and so community focused. So we're excited to watch your journey continue to unfold. And every day that we are here in the building, being able to be a part of that experience is always great. So we're so glad.
I really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Dr. Shiang-Kwei Wang is campus president at CT State Gateway. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Disrupted is produced by Kevin Chang Barnum, Robin Doyon-Aiken, Erica McIntosh, and Meg Fitzgerald. Our interns are V. Zhuang and Tale Ricketson. You can listen to more than 250 episodes of Disrupted via our archive. Just find us wherever you get your podcast. And you can listen for new episodes every Friday at 9 a.m. From Connecticut Public Radio, this is Disrupted. I'm Kalila Brown-Dean. Thanks for listening.